Hi, this is Null Inquisitor. This is a direct response to Same Old G's video about his relation with vampire, his bittersweet relation with vampire. And I listened to him, and it's kind of funny that the story he told about how he came about to meet these people who were playing vampire. I believe a LARP in a bar or a game in a public space. It's unbelievable how many times I've heard stories about people playing vampire turning out that way. It's really unbelievable. Vampire is a really popular game. It was and it still is. And I think it attracts a lot of thespian among us, the actor, the comedian, the people who likes narrativism, the drama, storytelling, over rules and mechanics and game. And it's fascinating to see how this game is so popular that if you pick out the average vampire player, you will end up having an average person, an average gamer, an average somebody. And these stories are similar from my point of view. I've heard a lot of people playing in LARPs, vampire LARPs, and games and of vampire, and the stories that Same Old G tells us. I've heard this story many times. The story of people playing submission and trying to do like a court-like drama. I'll tell you what's my relation with vampire is. First of all, it's all but better. My relation with vampire is all sweetness to the core. I really enjoyed this game. In fact, I have several copies of different type of vampire. You see, I have this book in French, first edition. Then I have the GURPS version, my favorite. Then I have this one, Vampire: The Dark Ages, still my favorite alternate setting for vampire. And then I have the second edition of Vampire. So I really enjoy this game. I like Vampire. And when I discovered this game, I was I was involved a lot in a campaign of superheroes in GURPS third edition, and we played this supers game for a long time. And then I purchased my GURPS book, Vampire: The Masquerade, read it, and felt like I needed to play this game. I was playing superheroes for so long that this gothic horror world was calling to me. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to play it. It seemed fascinating. And you see, in the GURPS version, and in the first edition of Vampire, you didn't have this codified society stuff in Vampire. You didn't have sheriff, harpies, seneschal, hierophant, whatever. These titles did not exist in those times. So, every prince's court was left to the development of each storyteller. These types of personality, harpies, sheriff, etc., develop naturally through the course of a game. I did some I did several campaigns. One of them lasted 5 6 year in these and I mean, with no codification of what a prince's court looked like, it developed organically. When I saw these terms appears, I find it funny because I knew all of them before they came about, and still to this day I don't use them. So you see, the all court-like system of oh my prince, oh yes, it never appeared in our game ever. And since I heard so many stories about things going that way, and 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 not wanting my player to do that, I never forced it. You see, it's written in the first pages of the book. Gothic, punk, and for many people the world is all gothic, just that, and they forgot the punk part. And Samuel G is right about this. The setting is about authority, but also fighting authority. It's about giving the finger to the man. It's about taking a stand. It's about trash talking the prince sometime, if you feel to. But it's also about consequences. You see, it's a balance. It's a dark world. I always played it like the whole universe was against you. So it was not a happy game. It was somewhat maybe depressing, but I always reminded my player, you see, it's the genre we're aiming for. It's dark, it's horror, it's not supposed to be a walk in the park. Um, so, so the whole story about the courtship and the people acting like they're in a court in some medieval time never clicked with me. Even in my Dark Ages game, things were more rough. Things were more, I don't know, less protocol like. A PC could be very well versed in word and speechcraft and just be polite with the prince, and that's okay, but it was not forced, because you see, in my games, the prince doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't give a shit about lower level vampire. He doesn't have time for you. You're not even a concern for him. Even if you go, oh my prince, in my game, you maybe not have the right to speak to the prince. You may never speak to him in a campaign, unless you do something spectacular or worthy of notice. You see, the prince have other things to do than do these small talks with you, with lower level vampire. You have to prove yourself to even be worthy of his time. It's just mathematics. You have to deal with the primogen and the things that matter in the city. He doesn't have time to make small talks with some coterie that is starting in his turf. Maybe people likes to play a prince that is really in touch with the people. But I'll give you an example. In my biggest vampire campaign, we had 4 princes, and the first one was a Bruja prince. So it give like the tone for the rest of the campaign. He didn't give a shit about anything. He was in a power position. He was a big dick. Everybody didn't like him, and maybe after a year of game time, some stuff happened, and this prince, this Bruja prince, just met his fate in a violent way, and was replaced by another priest, another prince. The second prince was a temporary prince. She was not. She was like a temporary position prince during the process of the Primogen choosing the next, and then stuff really went horrible for the city of New York. They encountered this weird vampire clan that were able to control machines, and this clan they didn't knew what it was, and it became a big part of my campaign. And this clan, I could do a video about them, became really important because they were controlling machines, so they could very build their own protection for their haven. So in order to buy peace, the Primogen of the city negotiate with this strange clan, and they decided to make the next prince one of the machine clan. So then came this huge era in my campaign, led by this nearly inhuman prince, very machine-like prince, who just saw the numbers and did not add time for your little talks and stuff like that. So, and I play several other campaigns in the Dark Ages, and we had a La Sombra prince, and if you know the La Sombras, you know that they're not about speech and courtship and politeness. They're really about power and power behind the throne, playing in your back. So having a prince like that, so overall, it explained why I'm also in this camp of I don't like typical court. I like things to be more gutting punk and more horror on a personal level. And if I ever do a scene or a story in a court like that with polite people, and they will all have knife in their back, they will all do crazy intrigue, and things will not go that way for long, because it's supposed to be more challenging for the players, and any player that is very submissive and very like a slave to the NPC at one point should realize that if you want to survive longer and have a better place in my campaigns, this player character need to realize that he need to take a stand. He need to stand for something. He need to find that reason, and then not be the pawn. He need to level up in some sense. He need to be himself and construct something in the world, become more important, and suddenly the game is about building your own power structure. It's about building contacts and allies and relations and a grid of people that can help you from time to time and give you information and stuff like that. So it's just my point of view on the whole thing. I also don't like the typical vampire court as in the second edition. I'm more about first edition, where you could do what you want, and the term sheriff did not exist, and the harpies, what a concept. It could happen, but it was not forced. There was no template for the typical prince court. No, it was to your own design, and it could be based on medieval time, but it could also be something entirely different. So thanks for watching, and see you later.